Good evening, and welcome to another disgusting version of Diatribes from the voice of doom. Now here's your disgruntled and dysfunctional host, voice of doom. Hello. I'm getting back into the swing of things. More news happening, making me want to comment because I can't hold it in. So I'll be around, and Voice of Boone is doing a few episodes. He's downloading. He does a different system of doing things than I do, so I just talk, listen to it, and then download it. And I don't make a schedule or nothing. So he's got a couple of videos in the hopper, which should be airing tomorrow, which is today. No, it's not today. January 9th, Monday. I'm doing a late night diatribe because I wanted to do a few Add End Die and codas to my last one, because each subject could be expanded on a bit now and be tied together. Now, first of all, I didn't tell you my idea of how we could have circumvented this speaker vote business, which was not a bad thing. I don't think just because things take a little longer that everybody has to get on their high horse and start complaining, because these tribes are getting on my nerves. They have to criticize everything the other side does, so each side can do no right according to the other, and each side to them can do no wrong. My side can do no wrong, your side does everything wrong. So here's what we have, is a situation where Petri Dish is told, after he takes the oath of office, finally, is able to repeat the words, he is told by his handlers, everyone hated Orangey so much, just do the opposite of everything he did, and you will be the greatest successful president in the history of the galaxy. And so he proceeds to do just that. He reverses everything Orangey did, and I'm talking border. I'm talking about all the rules that Orangey put in place in order to have an orderly process. Let's do everything, take everything away that he did, because he did everything wrong. We don't want anyone getting the idea that any of his ideas were good. It's just not feasible. He said something about saving puppies? No, kill them. I mean, whatever. I don't care. That's what they did, and now we're reaping the benefit of that, and we're still arguing tribalistically in a very primitive way that those guys in the South Pacific Island that kill everyone that comes near them, they're very advanced compared to us. Very advanced. Now, my idea about the speakership. England is not that much better off than we are, or they may be worse. They started the parliamentary system. They have a different form of government which is very similar to ours but different. Now, what they have is a shadow government. Every party has its own setup, all pre-planned, so that when there's an election, then the majority becomes the majority and the prime minister. And they're all ready to go, all their positions. So they have each party has their own setup government. You don't vote on it after the election. Oh, well, everybody won't be there because they weren't elected. I don't know who the people were electing McCarthy. Who were they? I never heard of that, because the new guys couldn't take the oath of office. So I don't know who was voting on that, the old guard or the new guard or whoever. Nobody wants to get into the weeds. It's boring. But if you did, you'd realize that if they had everybody set up ready to go, I'm going to be the speaker, you're going to be the whip, you're going to be the, whatever, committee here, committee there. Okay, all set up, ready to go. You got voted out, goodbye, we take our seats. That's what I would do, but that makes too much sense. So it ain't going to happen. Now, subject to the NFL. The NFL is a distraction, big time. But in my last episode, I said how the common clay are starting to take notice, and these guys watch a lot of football. Lots of basketball, baseball, hockey. I don't know where they get the time to watch all the sports they watch, but they watch a lot. And I surmise that it's a happy accident, either by accident or design, that we have major organized sports that are televised to millions of people worldwide, because it keeps people's minds away from looking at what they're doing, looking at what reality is. I'm going to skate through life and get out of this thing before anything bad happens. But nobody wants anybody to see anything. So you have the organized sports as a distraction. And then when people collapse on the field, that's an even bigger distraction. But the clay can do two things at once. They can watch sports and they can watch the hearings. And they can watch what the Congress does. I'm finding that out. That COVID clampdown had a big impact on society. People got more interested in politics and interested in what's going on. The smart people, the people that should be voting. So we need that shadow government, and the NFL is a distraction. I've always considered it to be a bromide for the masses. To be placated with entertainment. Same thing in the Roman era. They had their gladiators. Their arenas full of people watching, cheering as people killed each other in the arena. Barbaric. Killing animals killing them. Throw people to the lions for a sporting event. I don't want to get into that. Sports has been a distraction for centuries, millennia. So we gotta really concentrate on paying attention to these guys. And you can still watch your sports. I like watching bowling. I don't know, golf. That's the kind of sports that I can get into really watching. Third subject, border. Okay. Now, in 1936, there was a place called Germany. It was Nazi Germany at that time. They were at the height of their popularity in 1936. People really liked the party, and later they were forced to like it, but we'll talk about 36. Now, we saw fit, because we didn't want to look at reality back then, that we would have the Summer Olympics in Berlin in 1936. It was planned way ahead of time. While they were blowing each other up during World War I, they were planning on having it in Berlin. So they cleaned up the place for 2 or 3 weeks, or the month that people were coming from all around the world to see the Olympic Games. Germany was an Eden. It was an idyllic utopia, because they had order. And everybody was treating each other real nice. And it was a facade. It was a facade of the highest order that words in the dictionary can't even, describe what a facade it was to have the Olympic Games in Berlin in 1936, when it was already being oppression. The Night of the Long Knives had taken place 3 years earlier, okay? And by then people should have known, this guy we can't just pretend like we can have international games in this city. That ain't gonna fly. But we did it anyway. Everybody knows the rest of the story. The reason I bring this up is Petri dish. How does he connect to this? Well, I'll tell you how. I'm going to the border. I'm going to finally go to the border. And he's already solved everything down there, but they cleaned up El Paso for his visit. And it reminds me of that time-worn situation joke where the housewife is overwhelmed with, this is the 50s and 60s. She was a housewife, all right? Overwhelmed with all the work with the kids and everything else. And it's like the father's doing good in the ad agency, smoking like 10 packs of cigarettes a day. He'll be dead soon, but they can afford to get a maid. And so they hire Hazel. And the woman frantically runs around cleaning up the house to make it spotless. Well, why are you doing that? We're getting a maid. Well, I don't want her to think that I'm a slob. You gotta clean up the place. Okay, El Paso. Take away all the tents, take away all the barrels that were on fire for heat for people, and take away all of that so that Petrie can go down his motorcade through downtown El Paso and see that everything's all clean, hunky-dory, and everything's in order. Do I have to go on? Do I have to expound just to be witty about the parallels? It's a facade. 7,000 people a day encountered now. 7,000 times 30 is 210,000. And if you keep on doing the math, like by 10 months, that's, 2.1 million. By 12 months, it's somewhere around 2.4 million. Coming in every year. And that's just who we encounter. It's untenable. The common clay down in El Paso are making their feelings known. When you keep squeezing thousands of people in, any idiot can see. It can't go on like that. That's when the tribes are going to get interesting, because one tribe is going to try to defend all this crap, and they're not going to be able to because there's too many people. You just can't change reality. So when subjective wisdom merges with objective reality, that's a Buddhist term. If anybody can do it, you'll be in good shape. Subjective wisdom fuses with objective reality. It's going to be funny to watch. I'd like to see the D squirm out of it. They'll probably blame the Goppers because they're in power now. So we'll see what happens, but I wanted to do some addenda, and I think that was a pretty good one. I think I'm on a roll here. So I'll watch the Voice of Boone stuff and try to retort to that. Maybe we'll do a show together. It's kind of like he's the Jason Chaffetz and I'm Tucker. So when I take a little vacation, he can do a couple shows. So I'm enjoying it. I'm getting back into this. So I'll talk to you later, and enjoy the day.